Hi, Marv Curtis here. Thanks for joining me. I want to tell you today about a client of mine who was telling me that she recently went for a walk and happened to just immediately feel immense pain in her shoulders and neck, as though someone had poured concrete on them, she said. And I said, "What's the connection?" And she said, "Well, that is the place where I fell down 3 years ago and hit my head and got a concussion." Well, the backstory on this is that she'd had some difficult years, and they culminated in a divorce about 3 years ago. And shortly after that, she fell in love again and was looking forward to a happy new future when she began to have this just profound fatigue, pain, and migraines. About the same time, she also tripped, fell on her head, had a concussion, which took about 6 months to heal physically. But ever since then, she's had these physical problems, pains in her body, muscles, joints, and especially in the back of her neck, and persistent migraines. We began to talk a little bit, and I said, "Do you think it's coincidental at all that this feeling of weight, concrete stiffness in your neck happened to occur just as you were walking past the place where you fell and hit your head?" She went, hadn't thought about that. That's really interesting. Well, we hadn't actually worked on that in our work together on pain release, but it brought up this interesting fact about how the body transmits pain, oftentimes based on a previous experience. Could be an injury, emotional event, or something like that, but the brain remembers it. The really fascinating thing about this also is that she, prior to this event, prior to this divorce, had not had any of these physical symptoms, hadn't had any pain at all. She said, "Why is it that after all of these problems I was able to kind of bring to a head and resolve with a divorce, all of a sudden then I started getting all these pain symptoms?" And I said, "Well, something that I see commonly is what we might call the 'I deserve better' syndrome." All of a sudden your life kind of eases up and you look around and you think to yourself, "I deserve better than this." So a lot of people who end up with referred pain or neural pathway pain tend to be people who will prefer to have themselves hurt, will sacrifice themselves instead of someone else. They'll hold blame for other people, they'll hold pain for other people. They retain a lot of their emotions, and they tend to be people who later on, that pain is manifest through physical feelings in their bodies, and that's kind of the type of personality that she was. And when that release finally came, she was no longer in this difficult marriage, and she had fallen in love again, and things looked great. All of a sudden, she realized, "I deserve better." And that's when the pain started to set in. There's kind of a rage that builds inside, feeling like, this has been unfair. I have unfairly suffered as a result of what's gone on. And over the last 3 years, her pain has gotten worse and worse until it's manifested itself in many different ways, almost preventing her from being able to work. And of course, we've been able to reduce a lot of those symptoms and help her feel better. But in your experiences in life, you may also find that your symptoms seem to increase if you're feeling pain, anxiety, stress, things like that. They might increase when the pressure's off a little bit and you get a chance to look around and think, "Hey, wait a minute, this isn't right. I deserve better than this." And that's usually when those emotions bubble up and tend to be manifested in your body in physical symptoms. Well, that's just one of the things that I help people with. I'm a pain coach. And if you have pain of some sort, typically chronic pain that's been in your body for a while, in her case, her concussion symptoms healed in about 6 months. But now 3 years later, we're still dealing with them. And that's because the brain has learned those neural pathways and continues to produce that same pain. Well, if you have symptoms like that, where an injury or an emotional threat happened years ago, months ago, certainly longer than 6 months ago, and you're still feeling pain or symptoms, oftentimes we can fairly quickly find the root cause and resolve those emotional issues for you and help you get back on your feet and resolve those pain issues. Please give me a call. Send me a message on Facebook. I'd love to visit with you. I've got some interesting information I could share with you about how this works from a scientific point of view. Hope things are going well for you. Give me a call or send me a message. Thank you.